Plants are the longest inhabitants of the earth and have since survived centuries of events, human-inflicted destruction of wars, and natural disasters. However, plants have over the years been a significant component of human life and stand at the highest helm of supporting ecosystems through providing the earth with its clean air, food, and other critical component in supporting lives through pharmaceutical breakthroughs in times of pandemics. Indigenous species are important for traditional uses such as medicines. Domesticated species collection includes land races, which are exotic non-indigenous species that have adapted to local conditions over a long period of time without the use of selective breeding practices. In the year 1989, the communities of the SADC region recognized the importance of conserving plant genetic resources in Southern Africa, and this led to the establishment of the Southern African Development Community SADC Plant Genetic Resources Center. The Plant Genetic Resources Center is a regional organization with its office situated in the capital city of Lusaka, Zambia.
The SADC Plant Genetic Resources Center is a unit under the Food, Agriculture and Natural Resources Directorate of the SADC Secretariat. Our mandate is to promote the conservation, collection, and the utilization of plant genetic resources. The reason why we are here is the realization that because of the natural disasters that are taking place, mainly as a result of climate change, we are seeing that most of the material that used to be food for most of our communities in Southern Africa is now being threatened by extinction. More so, we are seeing that the young generation that is coming on board is now preferring to use modern or rather foreign material in their food baskets. They are now neglecting the traditional varieties and the common material that their parents have been using over and over again. So what we are seeing is that with that scenario, we are in a situation where if a natural disaster is to strike, we are likely to remain with nothing really to rely on as food. The material we are keeping here is material that has been grown by our ancestors over and over again, and these material are adapted to the local conditions. We want this material to be the anchor in our breeding programs because they already have the adaptable genes that make them survive even any harsh conditions. These days, we are actually seeing that because of climate change, there are new diseases, there are new pests, there are high temperatures, there is flooding, and all this is actually causing a lot of disaster and problems within the communities, resulting in a lack of food.
The Plant Genetic Resources Center, which falls under the Food, Agriculture and Natural Resources FANR Directorate, works in coordination with the National Plant Genetic Centers or National Gene Banks in each of the member states to conserve and preserve the genetic diversity and viability of Southern African plant stocks.
So the structure of the SADC Plant Genetic Resources Center is like this. We are the regional gene bank. So we have a unit that is called the ex situ conservation unit, whose function is to coordinate the collection of plant genetic resources in the member states, because we are made up of 16 member states, each of which has a center which is similar to what we have here. So what they do is they collect plant genetic material from the communities in their respective member states. They bring the material to SPGRC under the coordination of an ex situ conservation officer. This material is kept at the SPGRC, and some of it duplicated at the Solvent Global Seed Vault. This is basically a safeguard measure in case something happens here at SPGRC. We have somewhere from where we can get the material and start all over again.
Efforts to preserve plant genetics have over the years been attributed to the call and urgency to combat malnutrition or health disorders and boost immunity to fight diseases. The Plant Genetics Resources Center and national counterparts also perform important roles in research, documentation, training, and education.
The other unit of the SADC Plant Genetic Resources Center is the In Situ Conservation Unit. The In Situ Conservation Unit's function is to look after the premises of the SPGRC, the center itself, making sure that all the equipment, all the farm equipment, all the farmland is well maintained, so that whenever we want to do activities like regeneration of material or multiplication of material, that can be done without any problem at all. No?
Information about collected samples is important for searching and retrieval from the gene bank. Such information may include passport data such as collection number, date, village name, and coordinates. Information about indigenous knowledge of the seed and other notebook information may also be collected and stored as well.
Conservation of plant genetic resources is also evolving. In the past, we have been focusing on the orthodox seeds, but we are also realizing that the SADC region also has some parts or some members rather who are not in the mainland, and most of those member states do not rely on the cereal crops which are commonly found in the mainland Africa. They also have vegetatively propagated species such as bananas, cassava, yam, sweet potatoes, and these in most cases do not have seeds. So for them to be conserved, we have to use other means such as cryopreservation and tissue culture. We are currently in the process of establishing a tissue culture facility at the regional center here in Zambia, where we are going to be also conserving vegetatively propagated species.
In collaboration with the National Plant Genetic Resources Centers, NPGRCs, the SADC Plants Genetic Resources Center helps to ensure that genetic variability is not lost by providing a buffer to local agriculture against shocks such as droughts, floods, or civil unrests.